Hello and welcome back to Serpent Sunday. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. This week, we're going to continue our exploration of the serpent species that can be found around my area of Southern California. And the particular animals we're going to be taking a look at this week may sometimes be mistakenly called gardener snakes, but actually, they are garter snakes. You're not going to be finding them hanging out in your garden with a little sun hat on. That's just not what they're into. So without further ado, let's learn about the couple of species of garter snakes in my area. Garter snakes are from the genus Thamnophis, and the two particular species we're going to be taking a look at today are Thamnophis elegans and Thamnophis hammondii. These are the two species that are going to be found in my area of Southern California. One species is more localized in the southern part of California, and one of them ranges up into the northern parts. But they do overlap sort of in the middle there, and they are both found in Riverside County, which is the county that is my home base, and that's as specific as I'm getting at the moment. However, I'm sure people have guessed that since I go to UC Riverside. Now, these two particular species of garter snakes are fairly common, so we're going to be kind of talking about them interchangeably as we're exploring garter snakes as a whole. You can find garter snakes pretty much throughout the United States and North America, but these are the two species we're looking at today. They can range from a fairly drab, olive green, grayish appearance with some broken lines and like yellow stripes, or they can be quite vibrant and reddish in color, also with striping patterns. And we will be showing photos up around here of some of the different garter snakes that may be seen in my area. Despite their variation in color, these species of garter snake are a fairly slender animal. They're considered a medium-sized snake, and they kind of average out around 40-ish inches in length on their maximum end. And that is fairly common no matter what species you're looking at. But again, we're focusing on the two species that we find around my area. So who cares about the rest of them? I only care about these two today. But seriously, they're all cool, and I'm being mean to the rest of them. Show garter snakes love. They're cute, they're slender, they're a species that people don't realize they know a lot about, but they secretly do. Looking at these two species side by side, Thamnophis elegans does tend to be the more colorful of the two species, especially when you start breaking down the subspecies of that particular species of snake. That's where we're going to see those very bright and vibrant reds and other colors as well, where Thamnophis hammondii is a more kind of drab colored snake. One major thing they do have in common, however, is where they're found. While garter snakes can be found in almost any biome, a big theming in where you're going to find them is almost always going to be near some permanent source of water, as garter snakes in general are kind of semi-aquatic. However, elegans does tend to be more terrestrial, and hammondii is the more aquatic of the species. And this can also be seen when you look at their diet. Thamnophis hammondii does tend to feed on more amphibians and fish eggs, tadpoles, other larvae in the water, but they will also be seen eating things like earthworms and anything else they can kind of catch as well. Thamnophis elegans is a very interesting species because they seem to have some sort of genetic predisposition to eat slugs, which is one of those weird garter snake fun facts that I find people, for some reason, have that stored in their memory and aren't really sure why, that garter snakes like to eat slugs. Well, this is the species that does it. And I may not be 100% correct, but I think it's the Bay Area little population that seems to be the one that's most predispositioned to be feeding on those slugs. However, Elgans will also eat amphibians, small rodents, and pretty much anything that they can catch as well. Garter snakes do have a very, very mild toxin in their saliva that is going to subdue their particular prey species. However, it is not considered harmful to humans. The defense that they tend to have when they do feel threatened, well, they release a musk like some other snakes, which is fairly foul-smelling and hopefully causes a predator to back off. But if that's your line of defense, to be very smelly, you might as well do what works, because I know that foul smells have gotten me to stay away from certain people in my life as well. So you do you, garter snake, it freaking works. In general, garter snakes are a primarily diurnal kind of snake, meaning that they're more active during the daylight hours, and that's when you're more likely to find them out and about in the world. Now, over the colder months, garter snakes will hibernate, and when they hibernate, they do tend to have massive communal dens. And then when the weather begins to warm up, they reemerge in the spring. At the same time, when they're getting ready to reemerge and take advantage of the warmer months and the daylight hours again, the females do release a pheromone for attracting the males. Now, I'm sure almost everyone has seen those photos and videos going around of these massive garter snake dens and mating frenzies, which are very fascinating to watch because they're not really doctored. That's what happens. Females release pheromones, a bunch of males will flock to her, she will mate with usually several males, and then she can store the sperm for the most opportune time to incubate those eggs within inside her and give live birth later. The litter sizes will vary based on how many males a particular female mated with, and they will vary from species to species. However, with Elgans and Himandi, an average litter size does seem to be around a dozen young per female. And then the cycle starts again. And this is kind of general for most garter snakes. However, it is going to vary from species to species. And remember, we are looking specifically at the two species that are going to be found in my area of California. Garter snakes are a very interesting kind of snake to look at and learn about, and they can be quite colorful, and their patterns are very interesting, much like king snakes as well, and they vary wildly depending on where they're found. I do hope that you have found some of this information interesting, and I haven't bored you too much learning about these garter snakes today. Before I bid you adieu, I would like to apologize for any chirping background noise that may or may not have happened in this video. My bathroom is still currently the home of my fuzzy little duckling overlords at the moment, but we will talk about them in later videos. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, whatever increment of time you happen to be at the moment, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.